In welcoming Oleg Shabrov, Threat Intelligence BDM Kaspersky, to share his keynote on cybersecurity powered by threat intelligence. Put your hands together, navigating the data management conundrum. So, over to you, Oleg.
Hello. Hello, do you hear me? Good. Good. So, I have just came from Russia and would like to share a lot of, I believe, interesting information for you. Unfortunately, I have just 15 minutes and it's impossible, or it's close to impossible to share everything, but welcome to our booth after my presentation. So what I would like to say, especially after previous discussion, you know that in this world powered of IT, of artificial intelligence, all new fancy stuff like this, what can help us to beat cyber criminals? The only answer I have is human intelligence. And that human intelligence, again, sometimes powered by machine learning or artificial intelligence, is really converted to threat intelligence. So let's have a look how it looks like from my point of view. So we usually see how all these IT technologies helping and changing our life on a daily basis, but have a look at opposite side. So converting IT, it will be TI, or threat intelligence. So every time I will use words like threat intelligence or TI, I'm speaking exactly about it. So what kind of information do we have? Really, if you are looking to amount of information that we have now, it's more than 20 petabytes. So it's really huge amount of information. And it's, in most cases, it's impossible to move all this information to customer side. That's why we are doing our best to find the optimal way to transfer or to deliver it to you. So you will be able to use this inside your infrastructure. But that information is not static. Every day, every single day, we see more than 400,000 new malware samples. Is it big or small? Who knows? But let's have a look at more specific information. For example, speaking about India, and maybe not only India from corporate segment, from everything, but let's have a look at small segment. It's about operational technologies. We see, and we are monitoring on regular basis, and we see that on the first half of this year, we have monitored and detected that 28% of machines, of devices located in operational technology networks, we have seen malicious activities on them. From my point of view, it's huge. Really, because operational technologies are considered to be isolated, secure, and nothing bad should happen there. And if something wrong happened, we can potentially see terrible situation. But is 28% is big or small again? Let's have a look at dynamics. Most probably those who are sitting on the back rows don't see numbers. So please welcome to the first rows, but I will announce. And looking to all these statistics, you will see that if you are speaking about previous year, the numbers were even higher. Almost every third device on this device was visible malicious activities. You may say that that's not relevant to my company. Because thinking about operational technologies, people usually think about oil and gas, manufacturing, energy. So they have automation. But please keep in mind that almost any mature company in any segment using some kind of stuff like building automation. And how often do you keep in mind that this kind of infrastructure can also be attacked? So we have seen that again in this quarter, in first half of this year, building automation devices were even more affected by cyber threats. But you can again think about what information we have about threat source. So where these attacks is coming from. Yes, it's good. Internet is, on the one side, it's obvious because there are a lot of threats over there. But on the other side, you can think that usually these segments are isolated. Most probably new segments are not as isolated at all. But what I see in this statistic, and that is really not very good news, you see that a lot of threats are coming from removable devices, so flash drives. And speaking about operational technology segment, that is really critical. Because if you are talking about operational technology, you should keep in mind that USB drives connected to your machines is an evil. But if you are using it, you should keep them absolutely secure. And looking at these numbers, I can say that in other territories, statistics is much better. Usually it demonstrates that cybersecurity hygiene is not perfect. But the good news, if you are looking at the numbers from previous quarters, you are making huge progress. So that's a good news. But we can also think about not only source, but threat types. And looking to these numbers, again, I can say that we see that numbers about viruses and worms are higher than in other regions. Again, usually that demonstrates lack of or not enough cybersecurity hygiene. But again, you are improving. That is very good. The good news about this statistics that you have pretty small amount of spyware in operational technologies and ransomware. Ransomware is absolutely clear because if you will be encrypted, so it's nothing good, and most probably bad guys will request a lot of money to return it back to working state. But spyware is also critical, and your numbers are pretty okay. So if we see in other territories spyware, that usually means that on the next stage, that will be another much more dangerous kind of attacks, like ransomware, like APTs. But again, you cannot think about only about this. We can get to any level of details, and you can do it if you have threat intelligence information. But let's return back from operational technology to another segment. It's about Internet of Things. I selected these two areas not randomly, because on these two directions, India is somewhere on the top of the rating. That's not the best rating to be on the top, really. And speaking about other segments, India is somewhere in the middle of the list, and that middle of the list demonstrates that your infrastructure is pretty mature, and you know how to fight against attacks. But speaking about Internet of Things, situation is not so good. So what we see? We see huge amount of brute force attack attempts. So roughly 50 million brute force attack attempts from almost 100,000 unique IP. And speaking about kind of sessions that we see a lot of SSH sessions coming from, so we are monitoring this on our honeypots, and we see almost or even more than 1 million connections from more than 400K IPs, which are Internet of Things devices. If you are talking about telnet sessions, there are even more than roughly 50 million connections from almost or even a bit higher than 90K unique IPs. Usually this demonstrates that this kind of Internet of Things devices are not secured enough, and they are already infected. And thinking about all of these, please just imagine that some of these devices are inside of your infrastructure. What will be next? Sometimes not a good thing, but the good news that you, like security guys, know that there is perfect classification of attacks. It's about MITRE attacks, so you know how bad guys can get inside of your infrastructure, what they can do inside of it. But the bad news, that's only on the paper. When you try to implement it in the real life, most probably you will see a picture like this. You will be overwhelmed. And returning back to previous speakers, do you remember the first questions that guys from Sentinel will ask? Please increase your budget. If you have unlimited budget and if you have unlimited resource, you will be able to cover all these kind of threats. But in real life, unfortunately, we are in different situation. So what we can do? And at this exact moment, threat intelligence really helps. So let me demonstrate it one by one. So I prefer to demonstrate it on how it looks like on timeline, starting from planning stage, then to detect, investigate, and response. And if you are speaking about planning stage, in most cases, when you are thinking about building your infrastructure, you understand against what you are trying to fight. But when time is coming, it's really close to impossible to monitor all changes, all kind of attacks. And attacks in one country can be different to another, and one industry is another. So speaking about threat intelligence, it really helps you to improve your understanding of threat landscape. And for those customers who really believe that threat intelligence is good, but don't have enough competence, we are able to provide services to build it from scratch or to update your existing infrastructure. On next stage, it's about detection. Do you remember the numbers that, as I remember, it was from Palo Alto. So it's billions of events coming to your infrastructure and how to monitor it. And are you sure that you have all information about threats relevant for your industry and territory? So threat intelligence can provide additional information in structured way that can be easily integrated to your existing infrastructure. So if you have security operations center or just have CM in your infrastructure, that can be easily integrated. And a lot of other things to do, speaking about detection. If you are speaking about investigation, again, threat intelligence is a cool stuff. For example, you see that your attack is somehow related to file. Do you know what this file is doing? We have specialized tool that can demonstrate what kind of behavior this file is doing, and we can also attribute this file to malicious groups. So we'll know that this is related to attacker. And we will demonstrate what kind of other techniques they're using. So you will be able to evaluate your infrastructure. If you have the same in your infrastructure, then you definitely need to be prepared to it. And the last one is related to response. In so many situations, we know that bad situation happened, but we don't know how to react, and we are really able to help in this with you. And only understanding your threat landscape, you will be in much more comfortable situation. You will prioritize threats that you need to fight with, and that will be much more comfortable to you. So going next, I would like to say that we have a huge portfolio of threat intelligence tools. I'm not going to speak about this right now because I don't have much time, but welcome to our booth and we'll describe it all easily. The only thing that I would like to mention is we are making it easier for you. Don't need to concentrate on exact solution. We have packs or bundles that can able to provide you already grouped services and amount of these services, and it will be easier for you to use. And the last one thing that I would like to mention, because I came from Russia, and a lot of people know that Russia is some kind of motherland of the bears. And we have some kind of wisdom. Russian people usually say that, do you know what to do to run away from the bear? And some people say that you need to run faster than a bear. That's a wrong answer. It's impossible, especially if you are somewhere in the forest. But the good answer is you need to run faster than people running with you. So you will run away from this bear. So that's why we have a great tool that can demonstrate you how you think about threat intelligence, what kind of capabilities you have, and it will able to compare it with your peers. So you will see that different aspects of threat intelligence, how you believe this is important, what kind of capabilities you have, and what is average for the market. So if you want, just use this QR code, and if you will not be able to do it right now, we have the same on our booth. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Sound check. That's a token of our appreciation. Thank you so much, Oleg. That was both educative and evocative, mind-boggling stats, numbers, and of course, a lot of takeaways on threat intelligence, speaking about how we can really improve our cybersecurity hygiene to have a robust threat intelligence system of networks, and also a step-by-step guide on how to get this through.